Can they see us? Can they hear us?
They can hear us. And I believe they can also see us. This live streaming thing.
Oh man, it's magical.
Live streaming from beyond the grave.
It's wizardry. Thankfully, we have a wizard with us today, or demon monster thing.
The
something.
teeth. It's all about the teeth, man.
As always, let's start the stream by doing an audio test. Please let us know if you can hear us and see us all right.
They can. They can. They
awesome.
can.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for making it here. There was some confusion about what time the stream starts. I see that most of you who signed up on Tom are actually here. Please share the stream in all of your Facebook groups and other social media so that other people can join us and not miss it, because we have some very, very special guests with us today who are already in the waiting room fixing up their costumes.
But we're not bringing them on just yet.
Not just yet. Not just yet. Let's say hello to people first.
Okay.
Who's with us?
We have a lot of people with us today. A number of channel members are with us today.
Those
which
are the
is
people
wonderful.
appearing in green, and
That's
they have
right.
really cool icons next to them.
Hearts
We have
and crayons.
crayons, means that they've been a member for a whole month already. They're growing so fast.
Like little mushrooms.
Like little mushrooms. Soon there will be pizza slices.
Oh wow. Tech loves pizza. You know that. We have with us today Maureen, Indigo Grumbles,
Hello.
Huxley,
Hey.
Sharon Johnson, Ego Brain, Angie's Pantry, hello, Heather Shroom, Cassandra,
Hello.
Melissa. And now we get to the part where I scroll back and try to
And
remember
repeat
whose
all-
name I have already said.
I think Mark is
Michelle
with
Reed,
us.
Mark is here, that's correct. And Kirk Robinson,
Yay! Welcome.
Sophie. Mika?
I am also scrolling.
Mika, I apologize if I said your name incorrectly. Well, thank you all, and thank you all for joining and paying attention to the time on Tom, which was the actual time.
Yes, people, reminders work.
Yes, so
It's
thank you all for
amazing.
joining, and do please share this on your social networks so that those people who are not with us yet can join.
Yes, we'll be here for at least 2 hours, so there's plenty of time to join.
Yes.
What should we start with? Should we tell them who our guests are, or should we tell them who we are?
Let's start by telling them who we are. We should have made up names for ourselves.
We should have. I will be. What should my name be?
Steamy Mother of Dragons?
Okay, okay.
Mother
I
of
can-
Steam Dragons?
I can be that. I can be.
Steamy Mother? Oh, let's just go for Steamy Mother.
Steamy Mother.
Steamy Mother. Yeah!
And you can be.
Dr. Dork.
Excellent. That's a very fitting name. Dr. Dork it is.
And I am Dr. Dork.
And we are here today to invite some very special guests. Usually I do product reviews, but this time I will be doing an artist review. So we have an artist couple with us today.
But we're not bringing them on yet.
Not yet, not yet. But so that they can get excited. They're Matt and Dawn Davidson, and we will bring them on the show live in just a few minutes. And then after the interview, we will be doing a live coloring of Matt's amazing art. So stick around.
I want to change my name.
To what?
I want to be Dr. Tech.
Dr. Tech?
Dr. Tech.
Okay.
Because Dr. Dork, that just sends the wrong message.
Maybe
This is a family-friendly show,
Dr.
allegedly.
Dork and Mr. Tech.
What?
Dr. Dork and Mr. Tech.
No, no. So there's a lot that goes into producing these live streams, and if you've been with us for any length of time, you know that my job is to break things.
Yay.
We're in the new studio.
His real name is Tech Support.
My real name is Tech
Those who are
Support, but
just
everybody who's
joining.
here knows me from the people I see
I don't know,
scrolling by.
maybe they don't recognize you.
Oh, do you think? Look, people agree. Dr. Tech. It is decided.
Dr. Tech it is.
So I asked for the opportunity to show you what you see looks all clean, but can I show them what the rest of it actually looks like?
Please do.
So the rest of this looks a little bit maddening. This is where we are, and I apologize for the giant lights, but it's kind of unavoidable.
Woo,
in our
studio
studio, where I have, is this going to turn all dark? I have this entire
Ah, that actually looks really good.
shelf of technology that's driving the show. There's a Mac, there's a Hyperdeck, there's an ATEM, there's, what was your name? Steamy Mother?
Steamy Mother.
Steamy Mother.
Of
And then
tiny
some other stuff
dragons.
over here. So this, when I break stuff, it's not because I don't know what I'm doing. It's because there's just so much stuff. So hopefully today, nothing will break. But if it does, what do we say to the god of breaking things?
Not today.
No, not my fault. And with that, my portion of the show is over. And now I will go to monitoring the chat. And oh, Mark says there's a spider behind me. Where?
Oh no!
Oh my God!
There's it right there!
You know who to blame for that.
There's always a spider above Tech. It's his curse.
So I will be monitoring the chat. If you have something for Lisa, please put it in all quotes.
Or send me a super chat.
And I will be able to pop things up on the screen, as you see right there. And that will enable us to hopefully have a better user experience and all of those other wonderful things. And without further ado...
Let's bring in some guests.
So, we have the guests in our ears. Matt, Dawn, are you ready to join us? Oh.
I hear voices from
We
beyond.
should have made like a Ouija board
We
and like
should have.
bombs, and we should have been like, oh, from the dark places of the Nethernet, I summon here today.
Netherlands.
Yeah, Nethernuts is usually something else, but again, family friendly.
Family friendly.
So, here we are, Matt and Dawn Davidson. Hello! Thank you so much for joining us. Wow. Dawn, you look terrifying.
Your shadows are showing a little bit under your eyes, but other than that, you look lovely, darling. Lovely.
Yes, I see lockdown's been good to you.
Been a few changes since last year.
Yes, you
I've
look
lost some weight.
a little skinnier.
And
It suits you.
actually, we have you to thank for it a little bit, Lisa, because she is the Ghost Bride that we did on the cover of last year's gorgeously gothic coloring book.
That's
is.
right. Do you guys remember that stream when I did the live coloring of Matt's drawing of the Ghost Bride? And in fact, that became the cover of his book. And guess where the link to that book is?
In the video description.
Hello. So both Matt and Dawn have published books and other goodies in their Etsy store, and all the links to all of that are in the video description. So don't do it now, but after the show, check out the video description, follow those links, and get some awesome art, including the page that I'll be coloring today.
Yes. Buy their stuff.
Buy their stuff. So, how many of you here in the live show today know who Matt and Dawn are? And how many of you are completely new and have no idea who these strange people are and have questions for them?
You're making my job really difficult.
I'm sorry.
Let's just assume that nobody knows who they are and
Okay.
start from zero.
Go.
No, that's your cue.
Oh.
Nobody knows who they are.
Oh.
Matt and Dawn, for those who don't know who you are, please introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, Angie's Pantry doesn't know you. Please
What?
tell her who you are.
My name is Dawn Davidson. I've been married to my lovely corpse bride for over 20 years. And
No, it's 20 years this May. I know the time feels,
Longer.
remarkably longer than that.
but anyway, I work as a costume designer for Disney for the past 30 years. And Dawn is a children's book illustrator.
Sometimes.
But quite recently, she got some lovely ones that she could probably talk about.
Well, maybe. No, but so we branched off into adult coloring books. Gosh,
Her idea.
I guess about 4 years ago. Yeah, and we have quite a fan base already. Thank you to all our returning loyal fans. But yeah, we just started that and it kind of took off after about 6 months, and that's our nice little side gig and has enabled us to make so many nice friendships with folks like you. So.
And
Dr. Tech.
and I have to
Dr.
say that when
Tech.
she first introduced me to the concept of adult coloring book, the sound of it made me think it was going to be rather lewd.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I
I'm
have
not
the
sure I
same
can go that
reaction from
direction.
people.
I mean, those do exist, but
Right.
that was not the plan.
When I tell people about what Lisa does, So when I tell people about what Lisa does, it's the same thing. I'm like, oh yeah, my wife, she creates adult coloring books, and they're like, oh, like no, like coloring books for adults, and then they're like, oh, because nobody can think beyond that, myself included.
Yeah.
And I was surprised that there was such a large participatory audience in that.
Yeah.
It's a
So anyway,
fantastic
yeah,
community.
we
It's a
we have
huge
two
community.
Super different styles. I do a lot of portraiture and very pretty and cute things, and Matt is the king of highly
Edgy.
detailed,
Comic book.
sexy
style.
women style, comic-y. Yeah,
We loved
so I
your.
he
do ugly
outsells me
really well.
about 3 to 1. So
He
some of
does
y'all need to
pretty,
get on the
I do
ball.
ugly.
Matt, we loved all of your pirate stuff when you did the book on pirate women. That was incredible. I found one that looked suspiciously like Dawn, though, in that book. The drawing, as I was coloring her, I'm like, that
shows
looks
up
like
with the
Dawn.
I don't know how that happens. None of my men look like him, but I don't care.
That's how she needs good-looking man.
So, for those of you who are watching, if you have any questions, I'm monitoring the chat. So feel free to throw your questions into the chat, and we will ask them live of Matt and Dawn.
Ooh, people are saying, Matt, we love your art.
Oh, thank
Oh,
you.
new people are showing in. Naomi, hello. Showing in. Showing
Showing
up.
in.
Coming in. Showing up.
Talk is hard.
Talk is hard. So, you guys being costume designers, you must always have amazing Halloween parties at your house with costumes.
No.
And like, do you do it for fun with the kids?
We've done it in the past.
We do have fun with the kids. We have never done a true Halloween party, believe it or not. We're usually too busy
Are you
doing the family thing, dressing the kids up. Although I will say, when they were little, we started off doing really elaborate costumes. We would hand make everything and be really, really detailed. And, we live in Florida, so it's usually about 85, 86 degrees on Halloween night. So we learned really quickly that the kids were stripping off their costumes within about 10 minutes of
And then you end
making
up
their
carrying.
rounds. And then we're carrying all of their accessories. So now we go to Spirit and buy them off the rack because there's just no point in
But I would say that we had a lot of fun the year that we did the entire family as the Peter Pan character.
That's
Oh,
true.
I saw
We
those
did-
photos. That was
the-
amazing.
Yeah. Well, Disney used to, they still do a Halloween event. And so that year we went to that, and they don't allow adults to wear costumes anymore. That's what's
Really?
changed. But
That's the thing.
yeah, it's
I
a
had no
security thing. But back then we were still allowed, so we all went as a family group, and Matt was Captain Hook.
I
And
saw
our
it
three
was so
kids
good.
Yeah, our
That's
3
appropriate.
kids
The
were
father is
Peter and
Captain Hook.
Tinkerbell.
Right.
And Tiger Lily. We didn't have a Wendy because I thought I was a little old for that, but
She was
it was
Tiger
fun.
Lily.
Yeah.
Nice,
And
nice.
then-
I remember
This
last year
year
you guys
they're
did the
all
Addams
at my house.
Family.
Yeah, that was
Oh, yeah.
Last year we
That
did
was
Addams Family. That was fun. We only got about 5 trick-or-treaters coming through, so that was a little bit of a bust, but it was fun being on you guys. That was the
Yeah,
biggest
that was
audience.
phenomenal. We haven't had trick-or-treaters at the house ever.
Yeah, because in New York, they just don't do
They
it.
just
We don't
don't do
answer the
it.
door. When people knock on your door in a costume at night in Brooklyn, you just don't answer the door. In Chile, we had sheep and cows and chickens.
That's
They don't
kind
come
of
for
a
candy.
suburbia thing, I
But
guess.
this year we're doing it, so hopefully
Good.
kids will
It's
come
fun.
by.
I love it. 2020, we were going to go all out, and we were going to do a haunted house walk through in our backyard, because for the first time in, I don't even know, 15 years, Halloween was on a Saturday, and so we didn't have to worry about people getting up early the next day.
Right.
And then, of course, we all know what happened in 2020, and there was just nothing. So
Right.
What happened in 2020?
2020 was spooky enough on its own.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. It was just
I
one
wanna
big horror
answer
show.
Mark's question.
Oh wow, we
Answer Mark's
have
question.
35 people here.
They're
Yeah, so-
asking, Matt and Dawn, are you going to Mickey's Not So Spooky Halloween? No,
Not this year.
not this year.
Okay.
It's expensive because I still have to pay for it.
Yeah, they make them pay for that. It's really lame.
That is lame.
What is the?
There was one year. I think it was before we had kids. He did all the costumes for the Ghost Pirates. They had a parade,
that was a lot of fun.
and so he got to go in for free as part of his job to monitor, oversee how that was going. So then he backdoored me into. I think I was still cast at that point. I was working for them too, so we sort of.
She still had a Disney ID.
And got in free that time, but yeah. Other than for special events, even cast has to pay for that. So we choose to spend our money elsewhere.
So,
Yeah.
Mark, who's asking the question, he's Disney
designing
people
for
as well, so they know the workings of
Okay.
Disney.
Yeah.
Mark's also Disney.
Yeah, Mark's also Disney, and he also lives in Florida.
Yeah.
In fact, he's outside your door right now.
Yes, in costume.
Oh, the dog.
Heather wants us to take a moment to just acknowledge Dawn's makeup again and says that it's absolutely amazeballs.
Thank you.
How long
She does
did
a
it
good
take
job.
you to do it? Did you do it yourself, Dawn, or did Matt help?
I did do it myself. I used to do professional face painting, like the type that at birthday parties and such. So I still have all my gear. I haven't done that in a few years just because it got to be too much to be doing that every weekend. But yeah, so I learned all the tricks.
That's amazing. I want to take a moment to speak to all of my Udemy students who are taking my Undead Skin Tones course. This is an excellent example of the dark circles around the eyes look that you've all been practicing. Especially Tiffany's coloring that she posted a couple of days ago, just spot on. Everyone observe and copy. That is perfection itself. That's right, with the eyebrow.
I'm smiling, but you can't see it.
So there you go. You have a live model now. I always talk about how drawing and coloring from live is ideal. You can play this video back and color from live.
Dead model.
And the cheekbones as well. It's awesome. And no color on the lips. Okay, I'm gonna stop teaching.
I was gonna do the teeth here, but it wound up just looking like a mustache, and that's not what we're going for.
It's really not what we want.
It's the wrong look. Hello, my name is Raul.
We don't judge.
I am the corpse bride.
It's funny. Our kids are in a haunted house locally where they're playing
First
different
time we've done
roles.
that.
And
nice.
so every night I go over and I help with the makeup there. And tonight I'm thinking I'm just going to stay like this and see if they just want to grab me and stick me in a scene somewhere.
Yeah.
'cause why not?
It'd be awesome.
I have to pause for a moment because Mama Tech is here.
Mama Tech is here. Hello. She's up early.
Yes, though you can't see the entire message on the chat. She says, we were at Disneyland last week and they had the special event at California Adventure. Adults and children were costumed.
That was in LA.
Really?
Yeah. So that's cool.
Maybe they've changed something. That's fantastic.
Maybe
And
they needed
do
it to get people
allow
in.
They do allow adults to do what's called Disney bounding, which is that, and you can do that anytime, where you wear normal street clothes that are in some way reminiscent of a
Theme
character.
to characters.
So that's a thing. But I did not realize that they were allowing full.
So like our
full
Squid Game
costume.
suits would probably qualify because me would just be in a jumpsuit.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
We bought Squid Game suits for so we were talking about trick-or-treaters. We're hoping that we get people coming by the house. We're going to buy like a bag of candy. We do live in a community. There are kids here.
So he's going to be one of the guards with the mask, and he's going to be
I'm
the
a
square.
square.
And I'll be one of the players, so I'll
She's
have
player
the tracksuit.
67, yeah.
Player 67.
Yep. And so hopefully that stuff arrives this week.
You're gonna
Otherwise,
shoot people as they come to your front door.
perhaps.
We were thinking of just shooting
Play red
candy at
light, green
them.
light as the kids
Yeah,
come up.
yeah. So we
Yes,
actually thought about
yes.
red light, green light. Yeah, just have the kids play red light, green light, and like throw candy at them instead of shooting them.
I like that.
Yeah.
You should get a candy gun. Those exist,
Yeah,
don't they?
like water gun, but with candy.
I think if we shoot any projectile at a child, we're opening ourselves up for something that would
Maybe
require
just like a
invoking my
slingshot.
insurance policy. No,
Yeah.
Okay.
no.
Okay. We'll
You're right.
reconsider.
But I do remember as a kid when I would go trick or treating. Every now and then there was this older, like middle-aged guy who was really into the makeups to make himself look gross. I mean, really scary. And he would just charge out there and get all the kids, and they'd go running down the neighborhood.
Oh my god.
And I thought I had always wanted to be that guy, but not
Times
so much
change.
anymore.
Times change, for
And
sure.
our kids want to be that guy.
So, our made-up backstory is that I'm a Ghostbuster,
Yep.
and she's one of the ghosts I caught.
And kept.
Aww.
And we have an ectoplasmic love story.
Oh, they're always so romantic.
They are so romantic. We love having you guys on the show.
Yeah, you are wonderful. All right, what else?
We don't
are
have a
people-
backstory.
We don't have a backstory. No, not for our costumes. We do actually have a backstory.
Gosh,
we,
we suck.
do.
We're terrible.
We do.
Okay,
Well,
next stream is on you. Like, you guys have to do it, and we'll come to your stream.
we're both demons, though. Oh, no, those are vampires.
Oh,
Demons,
shoot.
demons. We got all of our monsters
Always getting us
themes
here.
mixed up.
Oh,
When
good?
we first met,
Oh, no,
oh,
no, no, no.
we lost.
Sorry.
Yep,
Oh, we must cast more spells. You know what that is?
we lost Dawn.
This-
Dawn will return.
Dawn will return. In the meantime,
That sounds like a threat.
You guys know what makes the internet work, right? It's the likes, it's the thumbs up, it's the subscriptions, it's the super chats, it's the memberships. So get those thumbs up in the air, and let's get the show back on the road. In the meantime, you get to watch my beautiful wings on full display. They're not in your way, are they?
No, they're not. Wow, we're looking a little dark.
Not here. I think that screen is actually just dark
Oh,
because
because it's Zoom. Yeah.
Because it's Zoom.
Let's check. The
Oh, okay.
YouTubes.
Mom is telling us something. Mama Tech says Las Vegas visitors crowd the Las Vegas strips with lots of costumes. Yes, we'll hopefully go and do our walk on the strip on the 30th if we get our costumes in on time. Smash the like button. That's right. This is amazing, says Cindy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm gonna hijack this chat since we. Oh wow.
Rotate the phone. Down.
Since Tech is doing techie things, and we have 35 people here with us already. That's so cool. Thank you guys so much. Please don't forget. Oh, we got a super chat.
From Indigo.
From Indigo. Thank you so much, Indigo. Thank you kindly. We appreciate it. Super chats. Oh, we got another
That's good,
super
Dawn.
chat from someone. Who's that from?
That's from Mark Shore.
Mark, thank you kindly. We love you. And Indigo, I am almost done with that new coloring page that you requested. Unfortunately, I got a little bit tied up with between Inktober, your page for the book, and the stream, but I did promise you that I would have that page ready before Halloween, so I am still on schedule for that, and that should be ready either tomorrow or Tuesday. Indigo has the best ideas for coloring pages. She always gives me these creepy, spooky Halloween ideas, like Pumpkinhead. That's apparently everyone's favorite coloring page now. That's up on Etsy, and I've seen a lot of colorings of Pumpkinhead all over Facebook. You guys are doing such a fantastic job on it. So, since we're talking about spooky coloring pages, Steampunk Santa. Oh, you know what? This happens every year. October is my busiest month, and the end of October, of course, goes completely crazy. And then it hits me just how soon I have to start doing Christmas stuff. So please do start thinking about Christmas ideas. Oh my God, more super chats coming in. You can have the chat back and announce those super chat people. Thank you so much.
So we
you
have
guys.
Ego Brain saying, thank you so much for Inktober for Secca. My whole family loves it.
You're most welcome.
Woohoo! Thank you very much. And then a super chat from Angie's Pantry.
Angie, thank you so
saying,
much.
big hugs, love your channel. We have Matt and Dawn back. So the wormhole that communicates with the ectoplasmic couple closed for a moment, but now it has returned into a full, well, you know. And
Obviously,
so
the super chats help.
the super chats helped. So they're going to think we set that up.
Oh my God, we so didn't.
Are we ready to bring them back?
Stacy, thank you so much for the super chat. Yes, now we're
Wow, nice.
ready.
Thank you,
guys
Stacy.
spoil it.
Oh, Sika.
Sika. Sika is a dog.
Okay. Ego Brain says Sika is like Sika.
Sika.
Because I said it differently.
You said
Thank you.
Seika.
So yes, Seika. I apologize. So here we go. Everybody, close your eyes. Imagine a perfect internet. Which should basically be any internet that didn't have Twitter. And here we go.
Ta-da!
Welcome back.
We don't know how to make the phone prevent people from calling us.
Yeah, that was an incoming call. When I-
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Everybody started calling Matt
We're
and
here.
Dawn.
Wrapped up.
is it an iPhone? Dawn, is it an iPhone? It's an iPhone.
Yeah.
You can set Do Not Disturb.
Oh, wow. Oh, I love your weapon.
Oh, okay. It
Yeah,
shouldn't
so
have
swipe
again.
down.
It was a messenger call, and I just knocked messenger off of my phone, so it should be okay
Cool.
for now.
That
That
works
works.
too.
Well, welcome back. We missed you.
We love the underlighting. Very creepy,
Yes.
very spooky.
And then
Yes.
it's trying to be up. Should we show off our little?
A little
Oh,
haunted
it
That's our-
glows. That's awesome. Wow, that is cool.
We built that last year.
You built that?
Yeah, it was
I
a
did.
kit. Well, we
That's
put it together.
amazing. We have a lot of members in the coloring community who are very much into model house building. In fact, we should have that as a
Oh,
separate
perfect.
topic in
Very
our community, because so many people are into tiny little model houses, and some of the kits out there are really intricate with the little furniture and everything. They're just fantastic.
Well, it was funny.
Incredible.
This one we built it, and then during the off season, we just tucked it up. We have a little alcove over
above our
where the television cabinetry is. And so when I pulled it down this year, actually, I can show you. Hold on, let me pull this and I'll. We had an extra prop that nature provided. I don't know if y'all can see that.
Oh my
but
God, is
there's
that a
dead
lizard?
Wow.
It's a tiny dragon.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's our tiny dragon. I felt bad because they just randomly get into the house down here, and that was the last he saw of anything. But he makes a nice little addition.
He does. He's
It is
wonderful.
Wait, what? No, get out. Do you know about the lizard? Sorry, we're being invaded.
Invaded by demons.
Stacy, thank you so much for that compliment. And Indigo, I got it.
Well,
I
have
do
to
tiny
say
houses and
that-
vehicles, says Melissa. Awesome. Sorry, I'm totally.
Yeah, you're
sidetracked.
reading the chat and you're stealing my job.
I'm sorry. I'll be quiet now. Please continue.
Nice.
Wow, that sounds like fun. Houses and
And
vehicles. Huh.
I'd like to do more of them. I was into doll houses as a kid, but I never had my own. I just would go and admire my friends because
They're
We have
amazing.
this miniature shop in town that she introduced me to. That this guy had like a haunted mansion with wizards
like
in the
9
tower,
floors.
and this is
Wow.
like a
It was like
wild,
Addams Family,
huge,
and then
beautiful haunted house.
Dracula. It had everything, every popular monster.
It's called
theme.
Ron's Miniatures.
Yeah, if you're anybody in Orlando, go
Amazing.
see Ron's Miniatures. Although he shut down his display
Oh, did he?
room, unfortunately. You can get to the shop, but not
I'm
the
sure they
display.
can have.
Maybe. Anyway.
I was thinking about creating miniature houses because if you've ever seen the show The Wire, one of the police officers in so it's a great show. One of the cops in The Wire, he's an undercover cop, but he also, as a side hobby, he makes like little miniature furniture for doll houses. And he's really, really good. He makes them out of matchsticks and paints them, and they're like these beautiful miniatures. And I was thinking, to do that to the point where it's the same as making bonsai trees, to where that becomes your meditative release.
Yeah.
It takes a long time to get there, and you have to accept when you start doing that you're just going to suck at it for a really long time. You're going to make lopsided chairs, tables with 3 legs, and you have to persevere. And the perseverance.
Kind of like.
Was my mic messed up?
Yeah, a little bit. I rescued it.
Thank you. So the perseverance perhaps becomes the actual meditation. But then I extrapolate from that the thing that I think about anybody who's really good at a specialized trait like that, and you wonder, how do they start? How did somebody say, I'm going to start making miniatures
started
for
off
doll
that.
houses? Or is it an accident? Did they learn it as part of a
Yeah.
job and then decided that they liked it?
Yeah, I imagine it's a progression like with anything else. Like when I started making coloring pages, I didn't think it was going to go this far. I just made one.
But you were already an artist.
That's true. That's true.
You know, imagine
Finding something that you love to do enough to keep doing it, even if you suck at first. You know, there's that.
And that's part of the
There's
process.
that-
We all suck at first.
Yeah, because there's that line between being naturally gifted, but then, you know, you can develop skills even if you're not naturally gifted. It's just a question of, do you love it enough to put in the time?
right.
Because if you don't, you're never going to become expert whether you're naturally gifted at something or not.
It's interesting to decide to become an expert at something.
Developing a particular style is a totally
Right.
different thing.
So
You totally have the, like,
I find it-
right here.
I find it interesting the desire to become an expert at something that doesn't, like, with no guarantee you're going to get paid for it. Like, you might have a
Yeah.
job, but you want to become good at something that just satisfies you internally.
I think that's called a hobby.
That's called,
No, it's called a, what did you say, Matt?
it's called an obsession.
An obsession. She said it was a hobby. I was going to say it's a passion, but yeah,
Obsession.
obsession works as well.
It
Yeah.
can be all of
I
those
keep
things.
messing with your mic.
You know all
What's
about
going on
that.
with your mic?
Because I think it touches you now.
Lisa, I wanted to tell you something concerning this Frankenstein that I did that you might be coloring. I had never really thought about mashing steampunk and Halloween, and it was a little bit of a challenge because I don't associate steampunk with anything Halloween, even though I love steampunk and love Halloween.
Yeah, I'm glad you did it. And actually, we have Mark Shore to thank for that idea. He came up with steampunk Halloween monsters like half a year ago, and he put the idea in my brain. And that's also the reason that I'm doing my entire Inktober in steampunk. So we have Goofy Mark to thank for that. I think it turned out to be a brilliant idea. I also did Count Dracula in steampunk, and I found it to
Really?
be the same experience that I love steampunk and I love, you know, traditional Halloween
Yeah.
monsters, but it never occurred to me to combine the two, and it turned out to be
Yeah.
a really cool page.
Yeah.
Oh, I see that.
Your Frankenstein is
Well-
amazing. It is, of course, the thumbnail for today's show, and I will color it in a few minutes. I'll start doing the coloring of that page. It's super detailed, and he looks amazing. He looks so tough, and he looks like he has like a wrestler's belt on. Does he have a
Yeah.
backstory?
Does he have a story?
What?
Does he have a story?
Well, the only story that I had for Frankenstein was starting with the fact that he's not my favorite monster. When I've seen the Universal versions, I'm thinking to myself, what corpse are you going to dig up and reanimate that has a flat head like that? And so I tried to reimagine that flat head as being basically kind of an addition to his head that keeps his brain stimulated.
Nice. That's really
Nice.
smart.
Very cool.
Mechanical addition. But for Frankenstein, the thing that I thought made him a really good steampunk character is because I'm not sure how much of him is machine versus man.
Right?
Is it the machine that's animating the corpse, or is it a corpse that's actually been brought to life but is being assisted by a few mechanical, kind of like a Ford?
That's really cool, and I'm actually going to touch on that while I narrate my coloring, because I've had all those thoughts in my head as I was choosing how to color him, like in undead skin tones or in machine parts. So
Exactly.
it's quite cool. So actually, I think this is a good time to start the coloring. Do we have any more questions for them, or should we let them go and give the artwork the stage?
We don't have any more questions. We have lots of people who talk about doing miniature style work for meditation, including jewelry and creating a bunch of other stuff. So it seems that,
Wrapped on something.
Do it.
yeah, it seems
All
that
obsessed people.
Buy the books.
it's quite popular. So no, we have, and lots of people are saying that the drawing is great, the Frankenstein is great, the ideas are great, Halloween and steampunk is great. You guys are great.
You're fantastic. Is there anything you guys want to tell the audience before we release you back into
The Nethernets.
the Nethernets?
I'm not, yeah, back into the ether. Just thanks for being there. This has been a crazy year and a half, going on almost 2 years now.
And
It's
thank
been
you,
a
Lisa,
lifeline,
for
really.
deciding to take on the illustration.
Yeah, and I'm
Of course.
just to reiterate, since I don't know how many people already follow our pages, we've got the Etsy store, obviously. We also have a couple of new books, newish, on Amazon if you prefer to have your books printed. Do we have anything new coming up that's special? We are working on several things. There's just not anything right now that's ready to put out. Thank you, Cindy.
Which
It's been a strange year with a lot of just different things that have put a damper on what we've been able to create that's new, but we're kind of getting some of that time and motivation back to devote to coloring stuff.
To that point, I was originally thinking that this COVID nightmare would be a creative boon, in the sense that you're working from home and you've got access to a computer and you should be coming up with something all the time. But it didn't work out that way. I ended up feeling like I was in a creative funk because I just felt so unsure of whether I even had a job or
Understandable.
what was next.
Yeah, but this has been wonderful to have the creative community with the coloring community coming together, and that's been a nice way to kind of keep us engaged even in those struggles.
So I will be
We are
having
so
a
happy to have you
sequel,
guys.
not to Gorgeously Gothic, it'll be named something different. But I definitely want to do another not a steampunk, but a Halloween book.
Yeah, we're gonna do some more Halloween stuff for sure. One thing, and I don't know how many of your guests watch other channels, and we've had one image that's this little witch carrying a cauldron with a scarecrow next to her. Yeah. That has sold really, really well. Apparently was shared on some channel, but we can't find it. I don't know who shared it and who sent the link. If anybody knows who that was, please share it with me so we can thank them. Well, we can. It's in our shop. Anyway, that image is part of a series that we're going to be doing. Actually, a whole book with that character, and there's a story involved. So hopefully to have that out in time for next Halloween, for sure. So
we had a late question
Dawn
come in.
And because she's an excellent writer.
Oh, have you seen the Penny Dreadful version?
Version of Frankenstein. I think of Frankenstein. Stacey,
I've seen some episodes of the Penny Dreadful series. I have to be honest with you; it's a little too dark for me.
Oh,
that sounds perfect
that
for
sounds
us.
perfect for us.
Actually into really hard horror, with like the kind of the gothic romance stuff.
A little too dark.
More.
But I do remember I saw a really bad parody of the Universal characters in a movie called Van Helsing.
Ah, yes.
But I thought they'd
I
take
can't
on.
believe we spend money on that movie. They should have paid us to see that movie. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That their take on Frankenstein was at least unique.
We didn't see those.
We didn't see those. No.
We have a rating cap. Anything below a certain level on IMDb, we just refuse to watch. And I think Van Helsing fell below that.
That's smart. That is smart.
There are moments that are supposed to be really scary, and I laughed through them.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, that got a 5.4. That's never gonna make the list.
Yeah, that's not gonna make the list. Thanks for the heads up. All right. Well, we are so glad that you guys survived the pandemic and you're still with us as artists. Please keep making amazing art. Thank you.
Very much
And
participation with us.
Of course.
And thank you so much for letting us come back on again.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Anytime.
We love you
are
guys.
always welcome.
How you color my work, and I think that's the most fun part about doing what we do is seeing other people's versions of our work. Because it could be any time of day. There's just so many variables as to how any of our drawings could be done. we almost don't want to color them.
We very rarely do our own because it's more fun to see what other people.
Same here.
Yeah. it really
Same
is.
here.
So before we let you
Great.
Oh, well, we're not letting them go.
before we let you go, I wasn't going to say anything,
Okay.
but more than one person has said that they think it might be Zucchini Kitty.
Zucchini Kitty.
Oh,
Okay.
Maybe
look
that's
them
where
up.
the
Thank you
picture
so much.
appeared. So
Great.
check that out. No confirmation, but that's come up more than once.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your
Happy
weekend.
Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Fun.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Uh,
Aren't
Ladies
they
and gentlemen, they're so
amazing?
cool.
They're
so
so
awesome. We
cool.
love having them on the show.
Dawn and Matt Davidson.
I say Matt and Dawn.
I say Dawn and Matt because, girl power.
Girl power.
Again, all the links to everything Matt and Dawn related is in the video description.
You just said Matt
below.
and Dawn.
For you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. The link to the page that I'm about to start coloring is there. The separate links for Dawn's book, which is more on the pretty and elegant side, is there. And the link to Matt's book, actually with the Corpse Bride on the cover, is also in the video description. And again, Matt's art is more on the spooky side, highly, highly detailed. And in fact, one of the reasons that I love coloring Matt's pictures so much is because his style of drawing is very similar to my style of drawing. So I understand the lines, and it's like, I don't need to wonder about anything. It makes sense to me. If you think of illustration as a language, we definitely speak the same language, clearly with him having his own style and me having my own style. But the feeling of the style is very similar. The line variation, the attention to detail, I really, really appreciate the work that he does and the detail that he puts into it. I can take my earpiece out now, right?
You can.
Ah, now I can hear myself. I was probably yelling this whole time.
No, you were fine. We have volume control for that.
What is happening here?
I was trying to figure out where I put the headphone case.
Oh,
It's okay. You keep doing your thing.
oh, I stole it from you.
You stole it from me. It would have taken me forever to find
You
it.
would have never found
Never
it.
found it.
I hid it. All right, shall we start the coloring?
No.
Oh. Do you see what I have to put up with? Shall we start the coloring?
Yes, we shall start the coloring.
Go
Are you
for
ready?
it. I am ready. This is the lovely page. I never know which direction to turn. This is Matt's lovely page, which I think is just called Frankenstein or Steampunk Frankenstein. And I am starting this page with a white pencil. This is a Prismacolor white. And of course, I'm working on gray tone paper because it is my favorite. So most of this will actually be done in Black Widow pencils. Again, my favorite brand, despite all the reviews that I do. I've discovered a lot of wonderful new brands through you guys. Thank you so much for sending me stuff for review. But time and time again, I keep coming back to Black Widow for the coloring that I do for myself. Although now I have a few other favorites behind my belt, but we do also voting in my private community. Can we throw a link up for Tom on the screen so that if we have new people coming up, I keep saying that, coming up, or joining.
Moving on up to the big times. Wait, demons wouldn't do that.
If you're,
They would totally do
They
that.
would
Because what are
totally
you
do
gonna
that.
do?
if you're new to this whole universe of Lisa Mitrokhin and TechSport, join the private community. It's free, and a lot of things happen there. Aside from just, creators interacting with each other, we decide on the content quite heavily. I often start polls for you guys to tell me what pencils you would like me to use on the show. So many of you voted on Black Widow pencils for this one. So Black Widows it is, with a slight exception of I'm starting with a Prismacolor white because white charcoal, Prismacolor white, Posca white, and Faber-Castell white are my favorite white pencils now. My favorite white pigments to start my coloring with. And of course, all the other pencil brands will work really well over this white. Why am I doing white? For all the new people in the show, I like to use white as a primer, and generally it just looks really good on gray paper. And for stuff like that, that's kind of creepy. I mean, it's really creepy, actually. Gray is an excellent choice. And this is a grayscale coloring page. It looks very much like a watercolor. So it's a light kind of a grayscale. You don't need to compete against the pigment on the page. And even printing grayscale on gray paper, I am not competing with Matt's gray shadows and gray outlines at all, because his work is so delicate. So I am free to add this white over the gray to enhance the intensity of those shadows so that it looks even creepier than usual. So if you guys have any questions for me while I run this demo that are technical questions on how to color, please feel free to ask them now live on the show. This isn't a product review show. Nor is it technically a lesson, so I'm not going to preach all of my technique. But if you have a technical question, don't hesitate to ask. I'm here to answer anything that you may be curious about. And don't forget to subscribe. Actually, you can't join the live chat unless you're subscribed to the channel. So if you find yourself unable to chat, that is why. Hit that subscribe button, wait 5 minutes, and then you'll be able to chat with us. I think there's a 5-minute limiter on it. Be right back. Need coffee. Cassandra, it's like the middle of the night for you. Thank you so much for being here at all, coffee or not. I really appreciate it. So when I started coloring this page, and I have it printed just in a regular size, so you can see that the details are quite tiny because he's such a tall character, that his face is just a small portion of the full-size coloring page. The details are super, super tiny, so I had to have my pencil really finely sharpened. However, even though the details are tiny, the way that they're drawn is so natural and intricate. It's more like a freehand drawing, very sketchy, not thick outlines that you may find in some coloring books. And there's an audience for all of this, of course. Some people prefer really thick outlines for things like mandalas and stained glass illustrations. And then there's a whole other side of this range that goes towards more artistic kind of a coloring page that looks more like a book illustration rather than something that's designed to be a coloring page. And I find that a lot of you in my community lean towards this kind of a coloring style rather than the thick outlines. And again, because my drawing style is very similar to that. So all of you who follow me naturally find yourself attracted to this kind of a style. So I think that if you guys like my coloring pages and my coloring books, you will really love Matt's illustration as well. So do check it out if you don't follow him already, if you don't have any of his pages. Start with a single page, see how it goes, get the book, and get all the books. And like Dawn said, all their books are available on Etsy as well as on Amazon. So again, super tiny details on the clockwork, on the mechanical stuff over his heart. And I'm not, even though the pencil is highly, highly sharpened, I'm not sweating the details too much because I want my coloring style to go with the drawing style. So not super precise, but just free-flowing enough to make it look like a drawing. I want this to ultimately look like a beautiful color illustration that you would find in a picture book, rather than, a more tapestry-looking like style of a coloring. And again, there's a place in the world for everything. And Matt talked about this a little bit earlier as well, that all of you have a completely different coloring style because each of you is an individual, each of you is a whole universe of your own. So every time that you color something, you bring yourself into the creation, just like we put ourselves into the characters. So do it your own way. And the way that I always propose that my students follow my lessons and my color alongs is that you just watch and enjoy the first time around and pay attention to the choices that I'm making as I'm coloring, both color-wise and light and shadow-wise and like mood-wise. I'm very, very strongly mood-oriented in my coloring. So the first time around, just enjoy the show, enjoy the live chat, just watch and let it play out. And then on your own time, the next day or in the days to come, play it back and then color along with me exactly the way that I colored it, trying to match the colors and trying to match the pencils. And then do it yet again, but this time putting your own twist on it. And that's a great way to learn. That's much better than just trying to follow along with me as I do it in real time. I'm going to take a breather here. Do you want to read something from the chat?
Yeah, sure. So Ego Brain reports that after everyone raving about Black Widow, she put them in her wish list, and her fiance surprised her by buying them all last night.
Oh my God, all of them? That's fantastic. Yeah. That's amazing. Leaf green. This color is from the Black Widow Monarch set. Get your notepads out, though. Do take notes on the colors that I'm using, because I do put up the names. As soon as I introduce a new color, I put up the name on the screen. So I'm going to try to keep an eye on my own demo and call those names out when they happen. But should I miss them, you can always play the video back and see what color I used. In the meantime, you may want to have your notepad nearby and take notes on the colors. What else are people saying? So cool on the Black Widows. I love them all.
Stacy says that Mark won't share his Black Widows.
What?
Yep, there you go. I'm putting it live on the internet. Mark, you got called out, bro.
You know what you need, though? You need to get 2 sets of every set of Black Widow.
That's right. The rest of the conversation is Cindy's trying to figure out how to open the bottom section of an electric sharpener because it's clogged, and she can't figure out how to get it open to clean it.
I've never had mine clogged yet, so I haven't had the pleasure of having to do that.
Yeah, it might be something with a specific brand.
Specific
They're trying to
brand.
figure out which brand it is, and that's basically what everybody's talking about.
Okay, yeah, I haven't had mine clogged yet. I just, as soon as it fills up, I dump out all the wood shavings.
I think it's like a bottom section. It's not actually the...
I would just whack it.
Oh yeah, that's always good. Yes, take expensive things and hit them with hammers. They're guaranteed to work better. This has been a public service announcement from tech support. Okay. So Gutson would like to know, how can you draw without rotating the paper?
Oh, that's an excellent question. And actually, when I draw by myself, for instance, the Inktober pages that I'm working on right now, I just sit on the couch and I have my notepad on my lap, and I rotate the page all over the place. I pin the page. I actually tape it to my drawing board for the recording demos, for your guys' viewing pleasure, so that you don't get to see me rotate the page all over the place. It is good practice to be able to do both. I've been drawing since I was 3 years old, and I had professional art training in university, so it's years and years of training. It's a little bit counterintuitive at first to not rotate the page, but I do recommend that you guys acquire that as a skill. It takes training. It definitely takes training. Also, having done tattoos for 10 years helped with that.
Because it's really hard to rotate people.
Exactly. You don't, as one of my victims sitting right here. I call my tattoo clients victims. It's okay, I call them that to their faces. Yes, as he said, it's very hard to rotate your tattoo client. A person settles in their chair, and if you're working on their back, for instance, or the back of their ankle or something, you can shift them a little bit, but not a lot. You have to rotate yourself around them rather than rotating them. So that's how I treat my page. I treat my page as a tattoo client. I don't bother the page, I move myself around it. So even when I'm seated at my drawing table, I either shift my weight around in my chair, or I move my arm around it. You can see, even though this is highly zoomed, you can see that my hand isn't at the same angle at all times. Sometimes it comes around like this. So I move around the page quite a bit. My private students know that I talk a lot about, when teaching you how to draw, I talk a lot about loosening up your muscles of the entire arm. Don't draw with the tiny muscles of just the tips of your fingers. Try to draw with your entire arm, and that will actually make for much better effects.
Iselina's here.
Iselina, hello!
Hi, Iselina.
Welcome.
Welcome to the show.
We did not work with crack today, Iselina. So sorry to have to tell you that. Instead of crack, which is what we lovingly call white charcoal here, I used white Prismacolor for this page. And the main reason I went with Prismacolor is because I use white charcoal in a stick form, not in a pencil form, and it's really hard to keep it super finely sharpened. So I tend to use the stick form of the white charcoal for larger scale illustrations. and with less detail. This has so much fine detail that I prefer to have a like absurdly finely sharpened white pencil instead of my regular crack. So that was the reason.
Question from Dawn. Did you look up dead skin to get the color? TRSL, I'm not sure what that is. Any research before you start?
Yes, I do. I do a lot of visual research before any kind of a coloring. So I have what I call reference photos up on my screen. And sometimes they're not even the same characters. Like I won't always look up, if I'm coloring Frankenstein, I won't look up Frankenstein pictures, but I will look up undead skin tones or like horror movie characters, paintings, photos, stills from movies. And I pick 6 to 7 of them. And I just put them up on my big screen. I have multiple screens in my studio. And I just have them there for mood inspiration to get my skin tone ideas from. Absolutely, I do that all the time. This next color is called Leather. This was, it went by too quickly, and I don't remember all of them by heart, but I think it's from the skin tone sets. If somebody noticed the actual name on it, if it started with an SD or an SL.
SD001. Leather. Look at that. Tech support. Tech support knows how to read.
He knows how to read.
The pencil on the screen.
So it's from the dark skin tone
That's it.
sets.
I've earned my nachos for the day.
You did.
So Gotan says, I started to draw last year, and I only did pencil sketch, and now in Inktober, I find it really hard to do curves. I know you can't see the bottom of the chat. I'm sorry. Long messages don't fit, but I'll put them up anyway.
Curves.
Yeah. Any suggestion?
Yes. Practice your circles. This is, again, something that I torture my private students with, and they complain, but then the results speak for themselves. Take a bigger page, like big. Get some scrap paper or even cardboard. Like if you get Amazon packages or something and you have cardboard in your house, use that. And practice with a piece of charcoal rather than pencil, because again, you need to loosen up other muscles in your arm. And draw circles freehand of various sizes, ranging from really huge ones down to tiny ones. And spend a couple of minutes doing that, all sorts of circles. It seems really simple and a little bit childish, but it loosens up so many muscles in your hand that if after that exercise you go back to your pencil or pen or fine liner and you try to do a curve, all of a sudden your hand is that much more loose and free-flowing. So that will help you with curves a lot.
And I just want to circle back and close the loop. And Mark put up a defense that I think is appropriate, saying that Kim doesn't put the pencils back the same way she found them.
I don't.
So when I was
I don't. I have piles and piles of pencils.
When I was a child, I would go into my dad's toolbox and I would take a tool out and I would use it for something and I would put it back somewhere, if I put it back at all. I might put it under the bed, I might bury it in the backyard. And he used to not like that. And he told me it's really important when you take something, you put it back where you found it, and I just didn't care because I was a child. And as an adult, I have tools. And sometimes somebody uses them and doesn't put them back where she found them.
Never.
And Dad, I understand. I understand. I apologize. I apologize. Anyway, so Mark, I feel your pain, and Kim, I understand.
I understand. Kim, I'm on your side. I never put pencils back in their boxes. In fact, once I get the boxes, I've been doing a lot of product reviews lately. Again, thank you guys so much for sending me those boxes of pencils. But when I get them, we try to film them right away when they're brand new.
Oh yeah, because forget about it.
Yeah, and tech helps me with those beautiful videos of like the sexy B-roll of the pencils.
It's equipment that's over there.
Because that's the last time you'll see them like that. As soon as I do the coloring, that's it. They're just all in that big horrible box that you guys all hate.
Lovely box.
It's just full of art supplies. And after a coloring as well, like this coloring that I'm doing right now, the pencils are still on the table, just where I left them. They're just laying around all over the place.
We have a conspiracy question.
Oh.
Do we know the name of the new Black Widow set yet?
Okay, we do know the name.
We do?
We do. In fact, I am wearing a hint right now.
Clothing?
Wings, golden wings of the golden dragon. It will be the dragon set.
The dragon sets.
And actually, It will be the dragon set. It is official. We don't have a release date yet, and that's not because Albert is torturing us. Our new color, Rusty, make your notes. He doesn't know the release date himself. Amazon has their own release date plans. I don't know how they decided or what needs to happen. Or it may not even be Amazon. It may be the actual pencil factory. Like once they're ready to actually release a certain amount of sets to Amazon, then it will be an official go. But until that happens, they can't release it. So the only thing that he knows is that it's going to be either this following week, the last week of October, or like the first week of November is what he's been told. So we're hoping, but it will be the dragon set.
Cool.
This pencil, was it Rusty? Did I say Rusty?
You said Rusty.
Rusty is from the Monarch set, and you will notice that the main sets, some of the sets, the main sets that I'm using for this coloring are the Monarch set and the 2 skin tone sets. I think the only colors that I will bring in from some other set is a blood red or a blood diamond or something like that, one of the blood reds. But the Monarch set and the skin tone sets are my favorites of all the Black Widows. I love them all, but I noticed that I lean more towards the skin tones and the Monarchs. The skin tones for their colors, because they are very much in my color palette that I like. And I do a lot of portraits, so skin tones work well for me. And the Monarch set, despite having a lot of green in it, I overlook that fact. I hate green. Despite having a lot of green in it, the blues and the browns are fantastic. And also the feeling of it. The Monarch set was the last set that he released before this upcoming Dragon set. And there's something in the composition of the pencils that's slightly different from the previous set. It's a nuance, and a lot of you felt it, but nobody can really quite put their finger on it. They feel a little bit softer, a little bit creamier than the other pencils. The other one, everything's fantastic, but the Monarch set, it's just a little bit creamier. It's like a piece of cake that's just a little bit tastier than all the other treats you've tried.
Okay.
It's like that.
So speaking of cake, have any of you ever had tres leches cake? Like, I'm not talking about tres leches cake where it's just like a regular cake and they claim they use the 3 types of milk in it or whatever, but like a slice of tres leches cake served in a bowl of sweetened milk. Have you ever had that? I had it at a Mexican restaurant that we ate at somewhere in Las Vegas. And I can't remember where. And like 3 nights ago, we're sitting there watching a movie and I'm like, I want tres leches cake. Like I had this
like a crackhead,
full-on crackhead meltdown. Where all I wanted, I was Googling it. I'm like, there's a cake shop that's open for the next 12 minutes. We can get there. Yeah. So I just want to know. So Isolina says that she's had tres leches cake, but is not a fan of it.
Oh, maybe
wow.
you got a
Maybe you just didn't get
one.
it. Maybe you just didn't get it. Just because. Oh man, if I can find this place, I will tell you.
If it's done right. If Angie's Pantry is still with us. Angie?
She is. She just asked Lisa, what pencils are you going to review next?
Oh, I am going to actually review markers next. Goofy Marky Mark sent me markers, so I'm going to do that as the next product review. And then the ones after that, somebody sent me a box of oil-based colored pencils. They look very interesting, so I definitely want to get my hands on those as quickly as possible. And as soon as this October madness is done, I'm going to go back to my product reviews. But Angie, you know about cooking and stuff. I know that baking is like a whole separate section of the cooking world. You do more canning. But do you know anything about tres leches? Do you know what the secret is?
Hook a brother up.
Yeah. Like, what's the secret? Why is it so delicious? And if you know nothing about pastries, that's fine.
There's a bunch of people who are saying that it's easy to make and that they know people or family members or whatever that make it. So somebody please send Lisa a recipe for tres leches cake so that... It's a white cake. We can call it crack.
We can call it crack.
Crack cake.
Crack cake.
Oh, so good.
We need some crack emojis. Where are my members with the stickers? With the crack emojis. Now we need a cake crack emoji.
Huxley's going to send a recipe. Thank you.
Thank you. Yay!
I'm going to get some water. Do you want anything?
I'll have some water too.
Okay, I'll bring back a thing.
Okay.
All right. You want to see a magic trick? You ready? Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Wow. Where is he? He's gone. How are you going to drink in that mask? Crack emojis! Yay! Thank you, guys. Well, this color that I'm working with, this Rusty, from the Monarch set, the set that I love so much because it's so just creamy and delicious. I think it's one of the colors that is named absolutely accurately. You know, we all love the goofy names of the Black Widow pencils, and sometimes they're just off the wall crazy, like Toadstool or Fairy Floss, stuff like that. But this one, Rusty, it's very accurate. It literally looks like rust, very, very red rust. There's no color correction in this recording. This is literally just like well lit with basic daylight lighting and recorded. So that is what the color will look like on the page. And Black Widows are great for working on white paper as well as on gray paper. Working over gray paper, you hardly have any color loss at all because the pencils are so vibrant, so strong. The pigment is very strong. Thank you for those crack emojis. Thank you, thank you. Of course, that is a specific sticker that's available to my members only. I create the emojis for my members. So I see pretty much everyone here is already a channel member. Thank you guys so much. The channel members appear in a different color. They're either green or blue, and they have little badges next to them. So everyone who has a heart is a new member, and everyone who has a red crayon is a member who's been with me for over a month already. The next one will be a pizza slice. So these guys grow with me. So do join the channel, become a member if you're not already. Members get a lot of cool treats and surprises, and of course, awesome emojis. So just hit that big join button under the screen. And there's a link to join in the video description as well. Yes, crack, crack, crack. Like, crack is my favorite emoji because it's, you know, white charcoal that looks like a pencil, and we call it crack, so it's cracked. I'm really proud of this emoji. But this Rusty, oh, water. How did you manage to drink? Thank you kindly. While I hydrate, you may talk about this color Rusty.
I knew a dude named Rusty in high school. His name was Rusty Jones. And he was really cool. And he ran for senior class president. In fact, he might have even gotten to be either senior class president or student body president. And when I was in high school, I wasn't very popular, go figure. And somebody nominated me to be student body president my senior year. And I had no idea. So we just had, we were supposed to campaign for it, and I don't remember how that ended up. I definitely didn't get elected. I might not have even campaigned for it, but it was...
Wait, are you on the screen?
No. Okay, now I'm back.
You're invisible.
Sorry. So I might not have even campaigned for it. Anyway, whenever I think of Rusty, I remember Rusty Jones. And he's one of those people that, you go and you try to figure out where they went, and apparently Rusty Jones is a more common name than you would think. I have no idea where he went, but he was really cool.
I wouldn't think that Rusty Jones would be a very common name.
Yeah, well...
Apparently.
I also have this theory that when people are no longer useful in your life, the internet deletes them.
That's true. There are people in my life who just vanish.
Yeah, they just straight up vanish.
You can't find any trace of them. Like, you think they were real?
Okay, so Melissa has a bot of some kind, like an Alexa or something like that keeps hearing you talk, and it keeps doing things. Like, it just gave the definition of a pencil.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, okay, so all of you are probably going to hate me. Hey, Alexa. I want to know how many of you are like, no! Now, just be glad I didn't say, hey, no, buy me a Lexus. Or a Tesla. We saw this.
We should be like, hey, Alexa, purchase all the Black Widow pencils.
Oh, Cindy said it hears me. There you go.
Nice.
Nice. So we watched... sometimes you get stuck in the YouTube rabbit hole and you end up watching videos that you would never admit to. Melissa, great. So we ended up watching some video where some dude had to keep his finger on a button on his iPhone for 24 hours, and he would win $50,000. And he had to keep his finger on this button while people in a live stream tried to get him to take his finger off of it. And somebody sent him, and so he was reading comments out loud, and somebody sent him a comment that was like, the person's name was like, Hesa Renata, or something like that. And he said it out loud, and it was like, hey Siri Nata, hey Siri. And his phone said, oh, like mine just did. Yes,
oh my God.
Yes, can I help you? And it disabled the app that he had his finger pressed on.
It was heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking, yeah. He was within not that much time of winning as well.
Not cool. Whoever did that, not a good dude.
Yeah, it's probably the same guy that would, swat your house.
Yeah. Yeah, probably the same.
Which means it's like all of the internet under the age of 12.
I saw that Monster said hello. Hello, Monster. Monster's a dog.
Monster's a dog.
Yes, we like dogs.
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 Dags.
Dags.
You like dags? What the heck is a dag? Dags, dags.
I like dags.
Oh, Mark says you have to say, hey, Siri.
No more talking to bots. They already got to experience the vacuum bot knocking out my screen during the last live stream.
Yeah, we have 2 robot vacuums. I love them.
They're wonderful. They walk around and they clean the house, making it possible for me to not have to clean the house. But every time that I'm working at my computer and the bot parks, the second that he connects, my screen, my drawing screen just shuts off. It's the weirdest thing. So it happened during a live stream last time. I was teaching and all of a sudden I lost the picture and I'm like, I don't know if you guys can still see me or not, but I'm going to reconnect.
Rusty was not a brawny woodsman. Rusty and his family moved to Phoenix and joined school, I think, halfway through my junior year. And you know how when, the new kid comes to school, he's, instantly the cool kid? Well, Rusty was not only the cool kid because he just joined the school, he was also really cool. He had, a mullet, and he had glasses, and he was really smart. Probably had chest hair. I don't really remember, but he was, at 17 or whatever. Anyway, Rusty was very, very cool. Too bad the internet deleted him.
Yeah, that's okay.
He had a sister named Kyra.
Was she cool too?
Yeah, she was also very cool.
Did she also have chest hair?
We weren't that close. Oh, Huxley has cats who keep touching the screen.
Oh, cool.
Baba and
Cats,
Glimmer.
we like cats too.
And it's a touch screen. That's funny.
Oh, we should give them something to play with. Do we have something we can drop from the ceiling?
Perhaps.
Maybe if something drops from the ceiling, they can try to paw at it. Paw at it. Let us know if the cats noticed that. If not, we have some other ideas. I did want to drop spiders on tech support, but he, since he's the one in charge of the technology, he removed my spiders.
Strangely, the spiders overlay video was not usable.
Suspiciously, it was the only one. It's like, I don't know why the spiders don't work. No. Delete, delete, delete.
Yep.
But I still managed to sneak one spider in on the corner over there.
Stacy said Rusty sounds like a badass, and Kyra is a pretty name.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful name.
I think Rusty might have even known Kung Fu.
I bet he did. If he was that cool. All cool people know Kung Fu.
Totally. Yeah.
All right, what am I doing here on the screen? This is a color called Eggplant. And I'm adding this eggplant to enhance the shadows. I'm going over everything that's already green and brown, and I'm adding this dark, dark purple. I don't want it to be the traditional, like Dawn was talking about using reference images. I did have reference photography for skin tones and dead looks, but I didn't want to go full photorealistic. I wanted this to look a little bit cartoony, a little bit like a book illustration. So my colors are a little bit enhanced, a little bit exaggerated, and purple and green is just such a classic Halloween combination. I couldn't resist it. And of course, just straight up green skin is very difficult for me psychologically because of my hatred of green. So I have to tone it down with purple a little bit. Other colors that will work well for shadows here are really dark browns, rusty, of course, black, but very gently. If you're using black, don't overdo it. And straight up red, like burgundy reds, will also work, granted that you've already made the shadows really dark. So do try them out, try out different effects and see what works, because not everyone is a fan of purple shadows, but I am, even for realistic effects.
Yeah. There was a question for you. First of all, Kirk would like to know if you still do tattoos.
I do not. I don't do tattoos anymore. I retired from tattoos about 4 years ago. What do you say?
I don't know.
Something like that. Time is weird. I did tattoos for 10 years. I used to do custom tattoos. So very much like what I'm doing with Inktober right now. That's how I approach tattoos. And I had, select clients that I picked and I worked with, and you had to be approved to be my client. And we had custom designs that I would tailor for them and then ink them. And it was cool. It was a great run, a 10-year run. And then one day I was just like, I'm done. Just like that.
And her clients are sad. We've got this one client who wants more work done. He won't get it done by anybody else, and he keeps begging her. He offers to pay her more money. He's just really, 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 really wants more tattoos.
And it's really flattering, but it doesn't work that way. Tattooing is a skill that requires constant practice. So it's not like, if I didn't use oil paints for a few years, I can pick up oil painting and it will just come right back to me. But tattoos it's very physical. So even though my illustration skill is obviously constantly fed with practice, the practice of holding a machine and working with skin and adjusting to different skin types and different tattoos and various placements, you need to be up to date on your training. So you can't just pick up a gun and tattoo someone out of the blue.
So Dawn had a statement that I missed from earlier where she says that Matt likes to superimpose textures of leather and blood splatter into his images, which we can see here.
Yes, especially the leather patch on the jacket is incredible.
The detail on that is amazing.
And it looks
like leather.
And it looks like I made it look like leather when in fact I didn't. I just lightly colored over it with brown and it just naturally looks like leather because that's how he illustrated it. It's incredible. And the blood splatter behind him, of course, is a very nice treat for me because I love splatter. All sorts of splatter effects. And the stitching on the jacket as well is very well done.
Yeah.
It looks three-dimensional and rugged.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can touch it.
Oh, yeah, totally. Like, I feel like I could pick that laptop screen up and smell it, and it would smell like a leather jacket.
Leather. Yeah. So for leather, I went classically with brown, and of course I'm adding my purple shadows all over for that same consistent look. But I went for classic brown for the leather just to enhance that illustration style that he already introduced there. And I think we'll have a close-up on that leather patch as well. The entire coloring, I'm actually skipping through some parts of it. In the recording, the entire coloring took me 3 hours to do. So the recording is an hour long. For instance, I skipped through some of the parts of the white charcoal because the white pencil in the beginning because I didn't want you guys to just wait for 30 minutes for me to apply all the white to the belly area or the chest area. So I skipped through that part. Same thing with the background. I show a little bit of how I do the splatter, but I skip forward past that so that you don't have to watch the entire 3 hours of the coloring. Okay, now I'm working on the stitch work and that leather patch. It's so cool, so very textured. But yes, when you watch this again and you do a color along, please pause. Don't try to finish this in an hour because in reality it took me 3 hours and I work really fast. So if it takes you multiple hours, it's perfectly fine. It's a very, very detailed page and totally worth spending the time on it. I heard you typing. What else?
I was talking about high school 10-year and 20-year reunion.
Oh, you were going to have a reunion in 2020, right?
Yeah, my 30-year reunion was in 2020, so that didn't happen.
And they never rescheduled.
Oh, I don't know. They might have, but I'm not on Facebook.
Oh, that's right.
And how it was interesting to see. So Huxley said that Huxley. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm like he. I'm sorry.
Huxley.
Linda Huxley. So okay. So Huxley said that Linda said that she also wasn't very popular in high school, but turned out cool.
Yes, very cool.
I said we were late bloomers, and then I was just commenting that it was interesting to go back to the reunion and see how many people's lives peaked shortly after high school. and like that was everything that they were looking back on. And then I was remembering Napoleon Dynamite. If you have not seen Napoleon Dynamite, that is a wonderful film.
Wonderful film. Tech Support's entire art style is based on Napoleon Dynamite.
No, his is based on mine.
I'm sorry.
In fact, I consulted for that film on how to draw ligers.
Ligers. Speaking of tech support drawing.
What?
The next surprise that we have for you guys is our next live stream, which is actually on Halloween Day.
Ah, the pancake stream.
The monster pancake stream, which was your guys' idea. On end of September, I ran a stream where I went through the entire month of October, outlining every single event, including this one, so that you guys can be prepared for all of October. And then I said that on Halloween Day, I'm not going to do anything live show-wise because probably no one will come and everyone just wants to enjoy their own Halloween. And you guys had a riot, a straight-up riot in the live chat, after which I set up a monster pancake stream, which will be Tech and I making pancakes that look like little monsters. And on Sunday morning, because I think Halloween is on Sunday.
Halloween is on Sunday.
So Sunday morning, we'll be making monster
A week from
pancakes.
today, in fact.
And it will be the last day of October, so I will show you all of my October drawings and tell you all the stories behind them. And as I'm doing that, for every prompt, Tech Support will be drawing his own. And that will, of course, be added to the full Inktober collection that will go up on Etsy as a unique work of art. The last one, we did that last year, so the person who purchased the last year's Inktober bundle also got the Tech Support special.
That's where the real value can be found.
And I kid you not, when she wrote me back with feedback, she spent more time talking about his art than she did about mine. Like, my 31 pages were in there too, you know, the ones that took 12 hours each. The blood splatter here, this is one of the pencils that I brought in from one of the other sets, the original Black Widow sets. There's delicious reds all over the whole collection. The blood splatter mat was such a treat. I didn't realize that there was blood splatter on his stick until I started coloring it. I just looked over the whole page and I had no idea that there was blood splatter there. But as soon as I got to coloring the pipe that he's holding, I saw that there was the blood splatter drawn in there. And I was like, yay, blood splatter. Like that. So I actually added quite a bit more of it all over the place since it was already introduced into the picture. I do love my splatter effect.
Yaz is here. Yasmin.
Hello, welcome. So nice to have you with us. Midnight. Midnight is such a tiny pencil now that I had to look up the full the full reference for it because I sharpened it down to almost nothing. I do use Midnight quite a bit. Midnight is a black pencil from the dark skin tone set. What else?
There's now discussion about people's popularity, when their high school reunions were or are.
I have never been to a high school reunion. I've never been invited to a high school reunion. It's like I never existed in my high school. I don't think I'm even on any lists. I remained Ishmael forever. In high school, I was not a popular kid. I wasn't like an outcast or anything. I was just kind of invisible. I was the girl who hung out under the stairs and drew creepy pictures. So if anyone needed illustration done for their projects, they knew where to find me, suspiciously, give me a bag of chips for an illustration or something. But other than that, I didn't have many friends. I had one friend, a really good friend, and she is one of those people who mysteriously disappeared after high school, just poof, vanished into the thin air. We can't find her anywhere. But other than that, I was just on my own. And to add to that, I always enjoyed theater. So I was signed up for a drama class, and I loved everything about theater. But our theater teacher did not like my accent, so she didn't let me actually perform on stage. Very professional, right?
Very, yes.
And this is an international school, mind you. So, a lot of us had accents, a lot of us much heavier than mine. But my accent wasn't pleasing to her ear, so she sent me up to the light booth to have the guy who currently ran the light booth train me how to do the light booth operating thing so that I could be out of sight and out of mind, and she didn't have to listen to my horrible accent ever again. So the guy who ran the light booth was named Ishmael, and he was a senior. So he taught me everything he knew, and then he graduated. And I fell in love with the light booth. I actually really enjoyed the solitude and the darkness and all the techie stuff. And, you know, having the puppeteer control over the theater, I felt like, you know, I could pay the evil witch back in other ways, like not turning house lights on in time and things like that, or reprogramming everything so that no one else could run the light booth. I had fun. But the point is, she never changed my name on all the brochures. So for 4 years, the 4 years of high school, it still said Light and Sound by Ishmael. And every time that we had rehearsal, she just, if she needed something, she would yell up at the light booth, Ishmael, house lights. And I'm like, still Lisa, Miss Knox? And she's like, shut up.
So yes, I present you Ishmael.
Ishmael.
Ishmael the Invisible.
Ishmael the Invisible. So after I graduated, I think I just remained Ishmael because no one ever reached out to me for reunions or anything.
Stacy says that she hates when teachers are mean to students.
Yeah, she was quite mean.
I was not an easily managed student by any means, nor am I an easily managed adult. But I remember my junior year in high school, I was in pre-calculus, and I would never take notes, and I would never do homework, and I would ace the tests because I just didn't care. And because I was uncooperative, Miss DeLucia, if you're watching, you're in the box with Mrs. Marcellus.
Mrs. Marcellus.
So Miss DeLucia
is famous on this stream.
Miss DeLucia kicked me out of the class and sent me to study hall because I was disruptive by not doing what she wanted me to do. And so I finished the class from study hall, still not doing any homework and still not taking any notes, obviously, and still passing the tests. But then my senior year, I was eligible for AP Calculus, and she taught AP Calculus, and she wouldn't let me in.
That's so uncool.
Yeah.
I'm finding it very difficult to keep this a family-friendly stream all of a sudden. There's a whole other conversation happening.
I'll bet you
here.
Miss DeLucia doesn't have a YouTube channel.
That's right. Or Wings.
Or Wings.
Or 4,000 people following on YouTube.
No, it's always interesting. Like the people that we interact with, especially when you look back, 30 years ago, like it was a different time with different standards and different practices and different levels of understanding about how society operates. It was a completely different world. And I try to remember that the people are usually not intentionally mean.
That's true.
There are people who are, but
they're few.
But most people are just doing the best they can with the tools that they have available to them. And being a teacher is difficult. I was going to say being a teacher sucks, but it's also very rewarding. It can be. But it's really difficult. And I'm sure that I really made her mad. So she did what she had to do to remove me for the betterment of her ability to teach the class. And I'm actually okay with that. I don't stay up late at night being like, damn you, Mrs. DeLucia! I never took calculus. But it does make for a good story. And I turned out all right.
And you turned out all right.
No harm done.
That's right. And in fact, I think...
Well, very little harm done.
I think stories like that in our past, like Miss Knox, who turned me into Ishmael, actually did more good than harm. Because it turned us into the people that we are. They thought that they were slowing us down, but in fact, they helped us grow. Not intentionally, but they were the kind of obstacles that we needed in our way to help us grow and make the right choices and make different choices, just grow as individuals.
Teachers try to shape students into the norm. Mm-hmm. And some of us are never going to be part of the norm. And the only way that you can make us part of the norm is to break us. And some of us cannot be broken. No. So all things considered, it turned out probably the best way that it possibly could.
Exactly. I wouldn't actually change it.
Yeah, that's right. Like, should I have gone to Harvard, MIT?
Probably not.
I probably wouldn't have been very happy. Could have met Mark Zuckerberg.
Could have been.
Actually, I couldn't have because he was like 15 years older than me. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have been the world's leading actress if I stayed on stage.
So people are commenting that they all had similar experiences in high school.
I find that that we have a lot in common in our community. Like somehow we all gravitate together in this coloring world. And how weird is that? Another thing that Matt was commenting on this, the coloring community is so specific, and a lot of us share so much in common, so much more than just our desire to color. It's like the coloring part is a side hobby that we all share while we have other things in common.
Right.
And part of it is kind of being outcasts, but now we're a whole community of outcasts, so it works out.
Yes, Yasmin says bullying did not, whoops, wrong comment, sorry. Yasmin says bullying did not exist in my high school years, you just had to cope and fight back. Yes.
Yes, very true.
There were bullies. I remember in my junior year, I was a teacher's assistant for the government teacher, and to get to his class, I cut through the class next door, and there was this jock in there that was always threatening to kill me, and I look back on it now, and I realize just how stupid it was, but at the time, like, that stuff is real. And I was terrified that dude was going to murder me one day before third period. So I started carrying a big kitchen knife in my backpack, which I thought was just the totally appropriate response. And I was like, he's going to attack me and I'm going to stab him. And my parents found that and they were horrified. And rightly so.
Right? If I found my kid with a big kitchen knife in his bag, I'd be horrified.
So, but going through all of those things, like, I think... I don't know. I don't have kids. I can't comment on like what the actual state of the educational system is or bullying or all of those things. But I think that there's value in teaching kids how to defend themselves, in teaching kids martial arts, and teaching kids the things that build self-esteem and self-confidence, and an understanding that they themselves actually can take care of and influence the world around them. And I think that would solve a lot of bullying. But then, of course, I think also, bullies sometimes need to just get hit in the face.
That's true. Or elsewhere. I find the elsewhere more effective.
Yeah.
They have hard faces, bullies.
But there are also lots of people who aren't comfortable with confrontation, and that's also okay. So I also believe that those of us who are more comfortable with confrontation should defend the people who aren't.
Absolutely.
But I don't think we live in that world.
Not anymore.
I don't know.
We don't know much about the world because we don't actually leave our house. We will try to venture out on the 30th in our Squid Game outfits and see how that goes as a social experiment.
Dawn went to a high school with 7,000 children.
Wow.
That's a city. That's not a school.
That is a city.
That's crazy.
Whoa. That's amazing. Yeah,
Huh.
I guess you don't really have popular kids in a school that big. You probably have cliques and like gangs.
Oh yeah, gangs. Definitely.
Yeah, that is a city. What am I doing here? What am I doing on the screen? I'm using something that looks like cream to blend in this background. Oh, wait till I get to the crest. I do something funny when I get to the crest, the Frankenstein crest with the German two-headed eagle. I accidentally make it Polish. Sorry, Matt. I'll explain when we get to that part. For now, it's this delicious cream color. This is something, judging from the tip of the pencil, this is something from the Monarch set, because it has those color tips where you can tell what the actual stem color is.
Now we're all talking about bullying.
No. Bullies are bad. Oh,
Bullies are often insecure.
Bullies are often insecure.
And usually if you smack a bully in the, some place that makes them cry,
it works.
Yeah, they'll stop bullying you. They might not stop bullying altogether, but they'll probably stop bullying you.
And just ignoring them. I mean, now we live in a world of internet bullies.
Yeah.
And I've encountered my fair share of them on Facebook. And the way that I deal with them now, obviously you can't physically hurt them on Facebook, but you can just ignore them. And I find that ignoring them, like somebody helps me deal with my Facebook bullies.
I thought you were going to say somebody was like, she ignores me.
No.
Ignoring them works wonderfully.
When I was dealing with Facebook bullies a year ago, I had some wonderful advice from this one, because I was all like upset and stressed out.
It hurts.
And I get defensive.
Yeah.
So it's easy to just... And I also try to use logic on them. And he's like, don't. Like, they're not going to listen to your logic. Just ignore them. And it worked out. It worked out for the best.
Yeah.
It truly works. Just ignore them and they
don't
fester.
Don't feed the troll.
Don't feed the troll. Exactly. What else are people saying?
let's talk about something nice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Now Mark's telling stories. People are telling stories
About bullies.
and defending against bullies and stuff like that.
Defense against bullies. Let's talk about dancing.
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 I don't dance. If you put me alone in a room with some music on, I'll dance like I don't know. But in general, I don't dance, and I make.
You dance. I see you dancing around the kitchen sometimes.
Okay, so if I were to dance, I would not look like this.
Whoa. Well, you're certainly not quite that skinny.
I used to be that skinny.
That's true. When I met you, you were that skinny.
But he's an excellent dancer.
He's quite elegant.
Very nice.
Take a bow.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
That was Mr. Skeleton. We're glad that Mr. Skeleton could join us. Oh, Michaela wants to know, did I dance with Lisa at my wedding?
We did not dance at our wedding.
But we also didn't have a traditional wedding.
No.
Tell the story.
Some of you already know about our wedding, but for those of you who don't, we're very private people. So we didn't want to have a wedding with guests, and certainly not with guests from two sides of the family, because they're people that don't know each other, and it would be awkward. And
We also came back to the United States from Poland just to get married.
Just to get married.
To go back to Poland again.
We wanted to make sure that we're married in New York, where we both mainly lived in New York at the time. So we flew back to get married, and we had a very private ceremony in an abandoned factory in an abandoned town, because we like going out and finding abandoned places,
right,
and exploring them. And of course, that also implies no white dress, but rather boots and pants and black tank tops. So we would just dress the way that we would normally dress. You know, I had a skirt, but it was black, and like fishnet stockings and boots, like my Doc Martens. And he just wore combat pants and a black t-shirt. And as far as people, we only had the guy who married us, which our best friend at the time happened to be someone who was registered to marry people. That was a strange coincidence.
Yeah.
So we had him with us and two witnesses, his girlfriend and his girlfriend's friend. And that's it. So we went this ghost house hunting, and it was the first time exploring that space in depth. So we found this room on the ground floor that looked like a giant auditorium, and it was all overgrown with these vines and this broken glass, and the light was cast just so beautifully. And there was like a podium there.
There was a lectern.
Yeah. So the guy, Franz, he took it and he did his speech, and we said our speeches, and we had a Polaroid camera. We didn't have like iPhones or anything back then. So we had one of the guests with a Polaroid camera taking a wedding photo. And that's it. That's what we did. And then we got rid of the guests and went off our own.
Yeah, our reception was the five of us eating at TGI Fridays.
Mm-hmm. We went to this place, the tiny, like, Jesus Land place. What was that?
Holy Land?
Holy Land.
I think. Hang on, let me look that up.
Near the abandoned place where we were married, there was also this abandoned, like, theme park, but it was tiny. It had like miniature everything. It was really weird. It was like being inside of a model, like, speaking of tiny houses, but again, all creepy-fied and abandoned. So we went to hang out there and just explored and tried to imagine what it was like and how it got abandoned, and then we went and had our dinner, and then ditched the guests and went on with our night.
Yeah, I'm going to post a link to this in the chat.
Holy Land.
Holy Land, USA, in Waterbury, Connecticut. Not the one that's in Orlando. Sorry, Dawn.
Waterbury. Yeah.
So, it's
yes.
done.
Well,
We can come back to us. So, Holy Land, there was this guy who created this Christian-themed theme park outside of Waterbury, Connecticut, and it was very popular in, like, I think the 50s and 60s. And it's still there, mostly abandoned. The property was turned over to a convent nearby, and so the nuns kind of take care of it. You're not really supposed to go there. They'll kick you out if they find you, but they're nuns. So they're like, please leave. No, please leave. We'll ask you again.
They didn't have shotguns.
Right. So that place was interesting. Like he had you walked through the story of the life of Jesus, and it was interesting. You just look at the link.
Yeah,
It was a pretty
very
crazy
cool
place.
place.
Yeah, so that was an interesting place to go to.
So that's our wedding. No dancing.
No dancing.
No.
Lisa, when we started dating, Lisa was taking
Salsa lessons.
salsa lessons, yeah. In fact, the first time she kissed me was after I dropped her off for a salsa lesson off my motorcycle, and I went to give her a hug, and she snuck a kiss in. I just stood there, like, I was in shock. She, like, winked at me and trotted away. It was wonderful. Aww.
We're so cute.
Okay, so...
So, do you guys have any questions about the coloring, about the page? Do you want me to play back any moments of the recording that I totally didn't talk over? Oh, I didn't address the Polish thing. The crest on top of the coloring, I made it with, I made it a white, oh my god.
Isolina found the spider.
I did have to sneak a spider in there. So I accidentally colored it with red, and I made it a white eagle on a red background, which is a Polish crest. And I kept staring at it. I'm like, why does this make me think of Poland? And it's the color scheme. That's why. So I texted tech support, and I'm like, why? Do you think like Matt has a backstory here? Yeah, like that looks exactly like a Polish crest. I'm like, should we like ask him if he's like Polish Frankenstein? If there's some like backstory against like Poles fighting back the Nazis or something? Like maybe there's some subliminal messaging. And then tech helped me figure out that it's a two-headed eagle. Therefore, it is a German eagle. So I should have just colored it black and not white and red.
But it's not exactly taken from the German. There's a word for it that I don't remember. But it's not exactly taken from that. It looks like it's actually a combination of the design style of the Polish eagle with the two-headed German whatever.
So it's quite cool. I like that incidental take on you know, him being a German monster, but against his will.
Yeah, yeah.
So my little accidental Polishness story.
Yasmin says she loves the wings.
Oh, thank you so much. You guys actually made the wings possible.
Yep.
Was it a month ago? About a month ago, I ran a poll live on the show asking you guys what my steampunk monster accessory should be on this show.
And they chose wings.
Yeah, it was top hat, goggles, or wings.
Nice.
And you voted wings. So here they are. What about you? Do you have any questions for me? That are not Nacho related?
I'm excited to see how you handled the Nacho challenge today.
There is a Nacho challenge. I have a Nacho problem. He loves nachos, and I love nachos. We both love nachos, and nachos are often a treat, like after exercise or a show or something.
Because it's always good to eat junk food after you work out.
Yes, yes.
another life principle from tech support.
Always eat junk food after you work out. It's good for the soul. Well, when I make nachos, I make them on a large plate, and I make like a layer of chips and a layer of cheese, and then that looks kind of flat, so I add more chips so that it's fluffy and pretty. And then I have to open a new bag of chips so that you don't get the broken ones because they're ugly. You have the full chips. And then I put more chips on, more cheese on top of that. And of course you have to add some salsa and maybe some beans. And then you nuke the whole thing. And then some green onions on top, maybe some jalapenos or whatever. Well, before you know it, somehow it turns into a mountain. And then I place it in front of him, and he's like, oh my God, woman, it's way too many chips.
I've asked her to make me small plates of nachos, small amounts of nachos, and she's like, no, you can't.
I don't sound like that.
So today her challenge is to please don't make nachos with an entire bag of Doritos. And my challenge is to throw it out and not eat the entire thing. Like, just eat enough of it if she overmakes it.
I did try making nachos on small plates, but it doesn't really work.
Yasmin would like to know where you got your wings.
Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah, if you Amazon search for Steampunk Wings, you'll get a bunch that come up, and these are the ones that are foam. They're made of foam, and you can bend them into shape, and they have little elastic bends that you put them on.
Yep.
Very, Very cool place.
Now people want nachos. Yes.
Nachos.
Go eat nachos.
All right. In that case, we will say thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you, Matt and Dawn.
Yes.
For being amazing guests, always looking beautiful on the show, and for bringing us this fantastic art. Again, all of you in the live chat, all the links are in the video description. So,
can you show your pumpkin head drawing?
Can I show my pumpkin head drawing? Yes, I'll have to run downstairs to get it.
Or if you have it, do you have it digital somewhere? I can, if you can, like...
Not quickly enough, no.
Okay, run downstairs.
I will run downstairs, so you have to entertain them with hand puppets.
Okay. We'll talk about nachos. So... oh, interesting. Kim suggests 7-layer dip, and then you don't waste, and you just dip your nachos. Well, so possibly, but I don't really like. So you can't really melt cheddar without like to make a sauce out of it. You have to like add. I don't know how you turn it into like the cheese fondue type thing, and that's more elaborate than what I'm interested in. I really like. I'm like white trash nachos. Like I like Doritos and cheddar cheese. And like, that's fine. And I know any of you would be like, oh my gosh, it's not tortilla chips, it doesn't have jalapenos or beans or meat or really any protein at all. But when I was a kid, that was junk food. Like if you were hungry in the afternoon as a teenager, you just go throw some Doritos on a plate, grate some cheddar, boom, put it in the microwave, 30 seconds, dinner. And so yeah, but that's a good strategy. If you have access to the queso fondue or queso fundo or whatever, then that is good. Cindy, I see your question about Dawn's question. I'll give that to Lisa when she gets back. Oh, Cassandra says, good morning, have a good night. Bye, Cassandra. Thank you for coming by. Nachos with chorizo bits. That's a Huxley suggestion. Yes, yeah. Nachos, they're totally junk food. Like, I actually do eat real food. All of you all think I only eat nachos, and that's not true. I do eat real food sometimes. In fact, since moving to Las Vegas, we've started using a service called HelloFresh, where we're on the 5-meal-a-week service, and they just ship us a box of food once a week, and it's got all of the portions pre-cut and everything. And so it takes about 30 to 45 minutes to make a meal. There's no leftovers, there's no extra wasted ingredients that can go bad in the fridge, and when you factor in that we're not throwing stuff out and that we're not overbuying, because you buy an onion, but you only need to use a half an onion, so if you don't use the other half, it goes bad. HelloFresh is a fantastic service, and there's a bunch of them out there. Okay. These your giant wings. Yeah. There's a bunch of them out there, so that's pretty much what we eat, and then that just leaves us 2 meals a week to make on our own. And
we can share that with people, can't we?
Yes, in fact, if any of you are interested in HelloFresh, please reach out to Lisa. We regularly get access to free boxes. A box is a week of food. It's like three meals, but like a box. And so we can send you, if you've never used the service before, we can send you a link where you can sign up and you'll get your first week for free, and then you can just cancel if you don't want it.
We'll take a picture tonight of whatever we make.
Yeah, okay, so we'll take a picture tonight. So that's a really great service.
Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead. Let's see, is that on the screen? That's kind of on the screen. Let me get the remote.
Yeah. Pumpkinhead is Indigo's idea. It was one of her super chat requests a few weeks ago. And he is now available on Etsy. And of course, the person who comes up with an idea gets the page for free. Pumpkinhead.
We're not up yet. Keep talking.
Okay. And this page, I am so proud of you guys for this page. I've seen some of the best coloring ever of this page. Just amazing. I don't know if it's just your imagination or you guys are using reference photos, but everyone's is completely different. Orange pumpkins, green pumpkins, blue pumpkins, backgrounds with stars, really gory versions of this, really elegant versions of this.
Press remote, please.
Where is
remote?
Yes, I'm looking.
Top line, all the way to the right, remote.
Yeah, there you go. Like 23 buttons there,
yeah.
If not more. Ta-da! Pumpkinhead. So I don't have a direct link to that page in the video description, but I have a link to my Etsy shop in general. So if you follow that, Pumpkinhead is just one of the pages that's up in my Etsy shop.
Okay, press solo cam.
I ticked.
Good job.
Tiny tick.
Tiny text, man.
Tiny ticks. All right. Shall we say goodbye to people? And go have those nachos?
Sure.
Thank you, everyone, so much for your...
Wait. Sorry. I lied. While you were away, there was a question that I said I would ask.
Okay. Ask your question.
Dawn was
What
wondering...
is your favorite color?
Dawn was wondering why Frankenstein is always green. Is there a reason?
Why is Frankenstein always green? You know, I'm not sure. In the book, he wasn't green. He was just, an animated corpse. The first movie that came out was black and white, so we didn't think he was green at all. But the first color movie that came out, and I think they did the color grading on a black and white film, and I think they made him green actually because of the way that colored film was done back then, so that he would actually stand out and he would obviously be a monster. So I think it had more to do with video production than with character development. And then he became such an icon of a character that he remained green.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to be like the greenish dead skin tone, and they just, the way that they color graded it, just like they did with the witch in The Wizard of Oz.
Right. There's actually, so if you, here's an interesting story, and I don't remember the details, but you can go and look at this. Look up the history of the Technicolor coloration of the Wizard of Oz. They didn't have color film. They shot with not multiple cameras, but the light was directed through a prism so that blue went to one, red went to one, green went to one. I think it was just RGB. And then they had to develop them independently and overlay them. And that's why Technicolor had that vivid, unrealistic color scheme. And why, for example, the slippers were ruby is because red was the most pronounced color that they could use, and why the witch was green. I didn't realize that they didn't have color film. It's a really interesting story if you just go and look up the history of the coloring
in the books,
of the Wizard
if
of
you've
Oz.
read the original Wizard of Oz books, the slippers are silver.
Yeah, they're not ruby. We all got lied to.
Got lied
by the
to.
government. I mean, by the Hollywood.
By the Hollywood.
By the Hollywood.
Okay, now we can go eat nachos.
And just make sure if there's... Yasmin suspects that maybe putrefaction.
Okay.
Could be.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Totally. Okay,
That's it.
now I can say thank you guys so much for the super chats.
Thank you very much.
We really appreciate it.
Yep.
And thanks
Thanks
you
to all
for
the
being
members.
a lovely audience. Thank you for being members.
Subscribers. Thank you for following Lisa,
Everything.
for joining Tom, for supporting us in what we do. It really means a lot to us.
We love you guys.
Have a wonderful, wonderful remainder of your Sunday.
And we'll see you on Halloween.
And we will see you next week for the Halloween pancake stream.
Monster pancakes.
All right. Bye.